it seems that we had two questions, one pending from the last talk, but it was answered on the chat, and it had to do with accessibility to CDDIS. And the other one on regards of the current presentation, which was also answered. I'm gonna read it. It's just to be sure, sidelogs should be the only or mostly trusted sources of station metadata, right? Even over that from the Rhinex headers. And I think we had some comments from Marcus. Marcus, would you want to add on to the comment that you wrote on the chat?
Yeah, sure. So Jeff said we take the site logs as a reference. So if there's a discrepancy between the Rhinex header and the site logs, we put the files normally into a quarantine folder because we can't be sure what's going on there. And yeah, we don't trust the Rhinex headers. And in general, I think David has a little script. If he sees a discrepancy, he informs the operators to fix either the site log or the Rhinex header. Both could be invalid. You don't really know. So.
Thank you, Marcus, for that response. We have a question now on the chat, and I think this has been actually recently on discussion within the Central Bureau. Allison, if you're online, I would like for you to answer. How does the ISO 3166 country codes will be used in future silo guidelines?
Okay, that's a great question. And so the ISO 3166 country codes provide a consistent and internationally recognized way of identifying geographic names. And this includes also short names. So if you look at for example, an internet address and it says .uk, it's the United Kingdom, or if it says .za, then it's South Africa. And so what this is this enables us to make sure that we are communicating the location of these data in a way that makes sense to everybody who adheres to this international standard. And so, yeah, we look forward to making this one of the improvements that was discussed in the Site Log Manager to make sure that everything is standardized and for the point of interoperability and making sure that it is accessible and usable by the maximum number of people. But that's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Are there any other questions or comments, both from the speakers and the audience? Okay, so it does not seem so. Oh, there is one. So there's a question. So there has been a few mentions of geodesy ML throughout the workshop. What is the current uptake and future use? That was actually the topic of Nick's presentation, and he will be presenting at a future tour. But I think Marcus, you could potentially talk a little bit, or Ryan Roddick, if you're present.
I think Ryan wanted to say something if he's still there. Since Geoscience Australia are the ones who developed the schema. Is Ryan there?
No, I don't think he is.
I saw him earlier. Okay. So yeah, I mean, geodesy ML is a well-established format now, but it has not been implemented on the IGS level yet. And this is part also of the SLM to output geodesy ML and make this format the future exchange format for GNSS metadata. At GFZ, we also implement that now. EPN already implemented it in their system. And yeah, so once IGS is on track, we can also think about exchanging metadata between different networks. So between EPN or Geoscience Australia networks. Does that answer the question, or?
I think that's a good answer to the question. And again, we will in the future have Nick Brown addresses on these developments, especially as it pertains to the SciLog, or as we move forward with the SciLogs. So we have another question, and I think this is something that Robert, Dave, Ben, and Ashley can answer too, because they've been working really hard on this. Will there be a new SciLog template that is different from the current SciLog template?
So I can answer that if they want to add, please do so. I can tell you the SciLog template will not change. The existing SciLog template that has been there for the past 30, 40 years will not change. However, when we do adapt the geodesy ML, this will be the new template that we'll be moving forwards to in the future, and start utilizing this in conjunction with the existing SciLog. So the existing will not change, no. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. There's one additional question. So the SciLog is the true reference as a user. How to deal with historical IGS data where the SciLog information does not match the RINEX header?
Yeah, I mean, we faced that in a repro. We took the IGS SciLog as the reference, especially in the very very early years. I think the antennas didn't even have a IGS standard name, so there you can forget the RINEX header anyway. So I would recommend to trust the SciLog in that case.
Yeah, from ESA, it's the same way. When we process, we trust the SciLog. We actually trust the SciLogs are in a compressed form as maintained by some software that I don't know exactly where it runs, but it's part of the Central Bureau, and it produces this IGS.snx file, which has the whole hardware history of each station with the dates in a very convenient form. There's one version of this, David, if you can recall, is it old or discontinued? I don't know. One of them has the stations that are no longer active, and one has only active stations. So so you don't have to open 500 SciLog files yourself. You open one file, you have everything there. And in the future, we'll have an API using JavaScript, which will be even better. But yeah, the SciNex file, the IGS.SciNex file, is where we trust that, which comes from the station logs. We trust that over the RINEX headers for sure.
Thank you, Nacho and Marcus. There's one more question. Is the SLM software open source? I believe, Robert, I'm going to let you answer that.
So we can look at if there's areas of concern or things that you would like, we can certainly look into that. If you have some stations that you would want us to host, get in touch with us and we can look into the matter and we can proceed it one at a time. We haven't really given thought to it to make it officially open source. We'd have to check some sources with ourselves to ensure if we can make it open source. If we can, then if we are allowed to, then we can surely make it available. Hope that answers. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Much appreciated. Are there any additional questions or comments at this point? All right. I don't see anything coming in, and so we are at the top of the hour. I think first up, I want to say thank you to everyone that has attended this tour. Thank you very much for your enthusiasm, questions, and support of the presenters. Obviously, thank you so much to everyone that presented their work and clarified some of the questions for us and the community. And on behalf of the Central Bureau, thank you very much also for attending. I want to say that all of these presentations will be accessible after maybe a couple of days. We will post them on our YouTube channel and also on our website. So if you want to share with your colleagues or you want to use them for reference, they will be available. And once again, thank you very much. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day, wherever you are.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
You. Bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.